Now on to number 2.
The following is a fictionalized reenactment of events that occurred after the release of the Blair Witch Project. It is based on public records, local Maryland TV broadcasts, and hundreds of hours of taped interviews. To protect the privacy of certain individuals, some names have been changed. Idiots.
You know, if you don't believe in the Blair Witch, then why the hell did you bother to come?
I thought the movie was cool.
Yeah, that movie. Book of Shadows Blair Witch 2 was terrible. It was by far the worst follow-up to the Blair Witch Project ever. I mean, the movie's biggest mistake was they made it a dramatization movie. It completely beat the purpose of what made the Blair Witch Project the best in the first place. The storyline was so terrible, it served as more as an insult to the original than a proper follow-up. It was a movie about a movie, and it was like, I find them to be the biggest waste of cinematography ever. They made the mistake of making this film a psychological horror film and not a supernatural film. I mean, the film did so bad, even the original filmmakers went like, you know what, we're just going to pretend this movie never happened. Now, if I was forced to say anything positive about this film, good cinematography, good production value. The actors did a fantastic job. I mean, they were great, even though they worked with a really shitty script and a crappy story. And the soundtrack. Oh, and Erica Learson, who's so gorgeous, by the way. God. She's the reason I actually kept that movie. But above all, the movie was just absolute shit. It was a disgraceful follow-up to the Blair Witch Project. Kind of makes you beg the question of how many of these movies they should have actually made. Could have saved this movie is they removed the Blair Witch title along with any Blair Witch references, and this was just its own supernatural psychological horror film where the group just consists of believers and skeptics working together to prove or disprove the existence of the supernatural and witchcraft and all that. And they go through this tormenting phase where they can't trust their own eyes. And whether or not the shit they're seeing is either real or is it all in their head. That's probably what could have saved this movie. And it could have gotten a better rating. But no, it had to be a follow-up to the Blair Witch Project. The movie was so bad that when it came to the 2016 release and they re-released the Blair Witch Project, you only get the 2-pack of the Blair Witch Project and Blair Witch. Book of Shadows is removed completely. You want Book of Shadows, you gotta buy it separately. And the fact that I think this was like a Canadian re-release and it's in a different language, that shows that's how terrible that movie was, that even the filmmakers want nothing to do with it. And I don't blame them.
This makes no sense.
That's because you're stupid.
Okay, enough of this movie, and moving on to the 2016 film.
The following footage was assembled from memory cards and DV tapes found near Burkittsville, Maryland, in the Black Hills Forest on May 15th, 2014. Big wow.
Now, the 2016 film, I did see it in theaters with my best friend. I did it as like a Halloween treat. And I'll tell you, it's better than Book of Shadows, but it's not quite as good as the Blair Witch Project. Like many found footage movies, like nowadays, always make the same mistake of having these ridiculously long, dragged out, boring, pointless prologues that robs up most of the movie, and then the good shit just happens at like this tiny little itty bitty end of the movie, and then the credits roll, and then you're left going like, that's it? I mean, the only time the movie starts picking up momentum is like 40 to 45 minutes later. That's when the movie starts like picking up and starts getting really, really good. The second issue, which didn't bother me, but I do agree that it defeated the purpose of what made the Blair Witch Project so successful, is the fact they relied too much on jump scares. However, there are parts that it will freak you out, that just makes you go, Jesus Christ. Perfect example, the one part that made my jaw drop. And I went, holy shit. I mean, it completely shocked me that they expanded it that far. And the next part made me cringe when Ashley, she separated from her friends and her leg became so unbearable. She had to sit down. She has blood coming out of like the calf area. She pulls up her pant leg and there's an exit wound. And when she tries to pull it out, and pus oozed out of her leg, and I went, oh God. And then she finally had the nerve to pull out this long thing, which I couldn't tell what it was. I couldn't tell if it was a vine, a stick, a centipede. Put in the comments below if you know exactly what that was, because I couldn't even tell what that was. But it was so disgusting. I just went, oh my God. Ugh. But yeah, it was like they depended too much on making you jump than trying to freak you out psychologically. Another one of the film's moments that would most likely get to you are the moments of claustrophobia when Callie Hernandez has to crawl through a really, really tight tunnel in order to escape. And I said that the Blair Witch Project drew a blurred line between the supernatural and reality. Well, with Blair Witch 3, they decided to go full-fledged supernatural, which it kind of defeated the purpose of the first film. I get it, this is supposed to expand the mythology even more, but I feel like they kind of expanded it a little too far. Now, the stickman thing, that was good. The film kind of gets a little freaky when they're introduced to these time warp scenarios where the two punks that got these characters lost in the first place, from the character's point of view, everything seems like a day. But then when the two kids show up, they go like this.
When was the last time you saw us?
Earlier this afternoon.
It's been 5 days since we saw you. Maybe 6. I don't even fucking know. The sun is not coming up. The sun is not fucking coming up.
The film does get a lot of negative criticism because it was startling, but yes, it was completely unnecessary, which is when they show the Blair Witch at the end. And I went, oh, so it's Slender Man with a wig. Because showing the witch in this movie defeated the purpose of what made the first film so good in the first place. And when it came to bringing back the Rustin Parr house from the first film, you can tell that this was done in a studio, which further ruined the reality of the first film. Because the first film, it did look like an actual abandoned house that these characters were walking into. In the third film, you could tell that this was done in a studio because there was way too much foliage, the lightning was coming down too much from different angles, and you could tell that the whole place was just rebuilt from scratch. Plus, there was more doors than the first ones did. So it was like, really? Another reason that this film's not as good as the original is because of this. In the first film, they used actors that you've never seen or heard of before, who barely even had a name, and they were put into the movie, and you actually bought them as kids who actually disappeared. Whereas in the third film, there were actors, you've already seen them before this movie. Callie Hernandez was the biggest giveaway, because we all know her as Shower Girl from Alien Covenant. And James, Heather's brother, that's Jimmy from The Walking Dead. I mean, when you put actors that we've already seen before in these Blair Witch movies, it defeats the purpose of these Blair Witch movies looking and feeling real and authentic, like this stuff is actually happening. But personally, I enjoy the third film, regardless of its flaws. Now, with all that said and done, and how the third film kind of ruined it by showing the witch, this is a theory I have about the Blair Witch, and how they should use this concept for future movies down the road. And I think the video game might touch up on this. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't played it yet. I'm dying to play it, though. I think the Blair Witch, she is the entire forest. Because she's no longer a person, her spirit becomes everything that's around you. She is the earth that will bend and twist itself to her will to get you lost even more and make you circle back to where you just came from. She is everything that defies the laws of physics, which explains the time warp thing. And like anything to keep you trapped in there forever. And once you're inside her circle, there is no getting out. And this is something you cannot reason. And I believe that in the third film, that's just one of her forms. That's not her main form because she no longer has a main form. Even the McFarlane Toys version showed that she could present herself to look like those two things, either a tree or some rotting corpse with a scythe. And I think the game does touch up on that, and if they do more Blair Witch movies, they should further emphasize that that's the Blair Witch. She is the whole forest, and she will reveal herself in any way, shape, or form to come after you. And that's scarier when she reveals herself as so many different things. And if they do make another Blair Witch movie, this is what the next film's character should be. Cops, search and rescue, canine units. That would be perfect. It would be like the Blair Witch's equivalent of Aliens. Because it should show, like, no matter how highly trained you are, all the firepower you have, how much survival skills you have, all the prepped equipment, even with a canine unit, that is not going to save you from the Blair Witch at all. Because you're dealing with something you can't see, and it's all around you, but you don't know it. I mean, it's like the Blair Witch could be anything. And it would show that even police officers aren't safe with the Blair Witch around. I mean, if they're going to make another one, I think they should use that instead, because that would be scarier, faster paced, and it would probably be a better Blair Witch movie than just another set of dumb teenagers going out to get lost. Because that's going to get old real quick. Well, those kids were probably better off with a bag of Utz and a beer.
Okay, I've got a bag of Utz and a beer.
And we don't really need to get that.
Alright, so I'm done reviewing the Blair Witch Trilogy, and these are my casted.
How did this happen?
Well, for one, this movie sucks. So now I'm done, and I'm going to be moving on with something else. So, please subscribe, please leave a comment. I'm Owen H. Have a nice day, and happy Halloween.